The alarm screamed across New Sol Colony as the pirate fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 300 ships formed a wall of metal and weapons above the peaceful farming world. Families ran to shelters while the Colonial Defense Force scrambled to respond. Captain Sojin Park commanded the colony's defenses from the orbital station. She had 12 patrol ships and a few defense platforms. Against 300 pirates, it would not be enough. Send distress signals to all nearby human ships, she ordered. Tell them we need help now. The pirate commander's voice came over the radio, full of cruel laughter. Surrender now, humans. Give us your supplies and half your people for slaves. Fight us and we will take everything. Never, Captain Park replied. She knew her ships would be destroyed, but she would not let innocent people suffer. The first human reinforcements arrived 30 minutes later, 25 ships from the nearby patrol fleet, led by Commander Tae Hyun-yu. It was better than nothing, but still not enough. All ships, attack pattern 7. Commander Yu ordered. Make them pay for every meter of space. The battle began badly for the humans. The pirates had more ships and heavier weapons. 3 human ships were destroyed in the first few minutes. The pirates laughed and pressed their attack. Then something strange happened. A new voice came over the military channel, calm and cold. This is Elite Forces Command. Regular forces pull back to defensive positions. We are taking control of this engagement. Commander Yu had never heard of Elite Forces Command. Who is this? I am the senior officer here. Not anymore. Pull back immediately. Elite Forces deployment is authorized. On his command screen, Yu saw 12 new contacts dropping out of hyperspace. 12 small ships against 300 pirates seemed like madness. The pirate commander saw them too and laughed even harder. More humans want to die today? Come and join your friends. The Elite Forces ships were different from regular human vessels. They were smaller, darker, and moved in ways that seemed impossible. Lieutenant Boram Song watched them from the colony station and felt her heart race. Something about those ships was very wrong or very right. The lead Elite Forces ship sent a message to the pirates. The voice was quiet and completely without emotion. You have attacked human civilians. This action requires correction. You have 60 seconds to surrender. The pirates responded with weapons fire. 300 ships opened fire on 12 targets. The space around the Elite Forces ships filled with explosions and energy beams. When the light faded, all 12 Elite Forces ships were still there. Completely undamaged, Commander Jinwoo Lee sat in the command chair of the lead ship, watching his tactical display. The pirates had made their choice. Now they would face the consequences. All units, begin correction protocol, Lee ordered. What happened next changed everything the galaxy thought it knew about humans. The Elite Forces ships moved like they were alive. They twisted through space in patterns that hurt to watch. Their weapons fired beams of light that cut through pirate ships like paper. They moved so fast that targeting computers could not lock onto them. In 17 minutes, 300 pirate ships became debris and radiation. Not one pirate escaped. Not one Elite Forces ship was even scratched. Commander Yu stared at his screens in shock. What just happened? What were those ships? Lieutenant Song was recording everything on the colony station. I do not know, but the galaxy needs to see this. The Elite Forces ships gathered in formation. Commander Lee opened a channel to all human forces in the area. Regular forces may resume normal operations. Elite forces are returning to standby status. Wait, Commander Yu called. Who are you people? How did you do that? There was a long pause. Then Lee's voice came back, still calm and empty of feeling. We are what becomes necessary when being human is not enough. The 12 ships vanished into hyperspace as quickly as they had appeared. They left behind only questions and the floating remains of a pirate fleet. Dr. Young-Suk Han arrived at New Sol Colony 3 days later to study the battle site. As a xenobiologist, she was supposed to understand different forms of life, but the weapon signatures and ship movements she found made no sense. The energy patterns are impossible, she told Captain Park. These weapons use technology that should not exist, and the way those ships moved, it was like they were ignoring physics. Maybe our physics are wrong, Captain Park suggested. Or maybe, Dr. Han said quietly, those were not normal humans flying those ships. News of the battle spread across the galaxy faster than light. Every species had spies and observers who reported what they saw. The footage of 12 human ships destroying 300 pirates in 17 minutes was shown on every world. High Counselor Thex 9 called an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Representatives arrived from across the galaxy, all asking the same questions. If regular humans frightened us, the Velcarian delegate said, what do we call these elite forces? Prime Mother Veltara's compound eyes were wide with fear. We have been watching the wrong humans. These new ones are something else entirely. Admiral Korth studied the battle footage for the 10th time. His warrior people respected strength, but this was beyond strength. They moved like hunters, but not hunting animals, hunting death itself. Ambassador Heejin Park sat calmly in the human section, watching the alien delegates panic. Several species were talking about immediate action against humanity. Others suggested running away to distant galaxies. Ambassador Park, Thex 9 called. Your people must explain these elite forces immediately. Park stood slowly, her face showing nothing. Every species has specialized military units. Humans are no different. But how many of them are there? Demanded the Centauri delegate. How long have they existed? That information is classified for security reasons, Park replied. Security? The Velcarian delegate's blue skin turned pale. What could threaten beings like that? Park smiled for the first time. It was not a happy smile. Perhaps you should worry less about what threatens them and more about what threatens you. The council session ended in chaos. Several species sent urgent messages to their homeworlds. Emergency military meetings were called. Some governments began making plans to leave their current territories. On a hidden base in deep space, General Heiwan Shin watched the council footage and shook her head. The elite forces had been humanity's secret for 30 years. Now the secret was out. Do you think we showed too much? Asked her aide, Major So-Young Kim. No, General Shin replied. We showed exactly what we needed to show. Now they know regular humans are not their real concern. But they will want to know more about us, let them want. The more they think about elite forces, the less they will think about the other projects. Major Kim understood. Elite forces were scary, but they were not humanity's biggest secret. There were other projects, other enhancements, other possibilities that made elite forces look simple. The galaxy now feared humans even more than before, but they were still fearing the wrong things. In the darkness between stars, more elite forces ships waited in silence. 12 ships had saved one colony and terrified a galaxy. There were thousands more ships waiting for orders that everyone hoped would never come. The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was filled with worried voices. Representatives from across the galaxy sat in their special seats, each made for their different body types. The air felt heavy with fear and concern. High Counselor Thex 9 stood at the center podium. Its metal body reflected the lights as it spoke in its mechanical voice. We must discuss the human problem again. They have been part of our Federation for 50 years, but they still frighten everyone. Murmurs filled the hall. The Velcarian delegate, a tall blue creature with 6 arms, raised one hand. I will tell you what happened at Korath Prime. We had been fighting the Drakmor Empire for 100 years. Millions died. Our fleets were broken. Then the humans came. The hall grew quiet. Everyone knew this story, but they still wanted to hear it. The humans brought only 30 ships against the Drakmor's 300. We thought they were crazy. The Drakmor laughed at them. But the humans did something we never expected. They did not attack the Drakmor fleets. They attacked their minds. Ambassador Heejin Park sat in the human section, listening calmly. She was a small woman with kind eyes, but everyone in the hall feared what she represented. The Velcarian continued. The humans sent messages to every Drakmor world. Not threats of war, but videos of what humans do to enemies who hurt innocent people. They showed the Drakmor what happened to pirates who attacked human colonies. The Drakmor Empire surrendered in 3 months. 3 months. After a century of war, Prime Mother Veltara spoke from her section. The insect-like creature's voice buzzed with worry. This is why we fear them. They think as individuals, not as groups. We cannot predict what they will do. When we fight, we follow patterns. Humans create new patterns every time. Admiral Korth, a large reptilian warrior, nodded his scaled head. My people are known for being fierce fighters. We have conquered many worlds. But when we see human ships, we choose different paths. It is not shame. It is wisdom. Captain Daeho Kim watched the council session from the human observation deck. He commanded the cruiser Persistence and had fought in many battles. He understood why aliens feared his people, but he also knew they only saw part of the truth. The humans fight wars differently, said another delegate. Other species fight to win territory or resources. Humans fight to end fighting. They make war so terrible that their enemies never want to fight again. Thex-9's metal head turned toward Ambassador Park. What do you say to these concerns, Ambassador? Your people make others afraid simply by existing. Park stood slowly. When she spoke, her voice was calm and gentle. My people did not ask to be feared. We only want peace. When others threaten that peace, we protect ourselves and our friends. Is this wrong? But how you protect yourselves, said the Valkyrian. You do not just defeat enemies. You make them afraid to become enemies in the first place. Park nodded. Yes. We learned long ago that the best way to protect the innocent is to make evil people afraid to hurt them. Fear can be a tool for peace. In his ship above the Council world, General Subin Choi reviewed reports from across the galaxy. Human colonies were growing. Human businesses were successful. Human culture was spreading. But with growth came new challenges. Sir, his aide said, we have detected unusual pirate activity near the Outer Rim colonies. Large fleets gathering, Choi frowned. Pirates usually worked in small groups. Large fleets meant someone was organizing them. Send the patrol schedules to all colony worlds. Make sure our regular forces are ready. Back in the council hall, the debate continued. Some delegates wanted to limit human expansion. Others argued that humans had never attacked peaceful worlds. They are too dangerous, said one delegate. What if they decide we are their enemies? Then we would already be dead, Admiral Korth replied. The fact that we sit here arguing proves they do not wish to harm us. A young delegate from the Centauri Republic stood up. But what if there are more humans than we know about? What if their military is bigger than they tell us? Ambassador Park's expression did not change, but something flickered in her eyes. Every species has the right to privacy about their defense capabilities. We tell you what we choose to tell you. The session ended without decisions, as many did. The delegates returned to their worlds, still worried about the human question. They did not know that their fears, while real, were focused on the wrong things. Captain Kim met with Ambassador Park after the session. They are really scared of us, he said. Yes, Park replied. But they do not understand what they should actually fear. What do you mean? Park looked out at the stars through the station window. They fear our regular soldiers, our normal people. They think that is all we have. She paused. They have no idea about the others. The elite forces? The elite forces, Park confirmed. 50,000 humans who make our regular military look like children playing with toys. Kim felt a chill. Even as a military officer, he knew very little about the elite forces. They were whispers, rumors, shadows that moved when normal forces were not enough. Do you think the council suspects? Kim asked. No, Park said. They are too busy fearing what they can see to worry about what they cannot see. Far from the council station, in a part of space that appeared empty on all charts, ships moved in perfect silence. These ships looked different from normal human vessels. They were smaller, sleeker, and they seemed to bend light around them. Inside one ship, Commander Jinwoo Lee reviewed intelligence reports. Pirates were gathering near human colonies. 300 ships all armed with stolen military weapons. They planned to attack innocent families. Orders, sir? Asked his second-in-command. Lee's face showed no emotion. Monitor the situation. If they attack civilians, we respond. What about the regular forces? Let them try first. The galaxy still believes regular humans are the most dangerous thing we have. It is better to keep it that way. The pirate fleet moved toward the colony world of New Sol, where 50,000 human families lived peaceful lives. They had no idea that their safety depended not just on the patrol ships they could see, but on shadows they could not imagine. The galaxy feared humans because they had seen what regular people could do when pushed to fight. They had no idea what was coming if they pushed too far. 30 years ago, deep in the mountains of Earth, a secret project began that would change everything. Dr. Young-Suk Han had found the classified files while investigating the elite forces. What she read made her hands shake. Project Apex Predator, she whispered, reading the first document. The file was marked with security warnings in 3 languages, but her research clearance let her access it. The project leader had been Colonel Tae-min Park, Ambassador Hyjin Park's younger brother. His logs told a story that explained everything and frightened her more than alien invasions. Personal log, Day 1. The file began. Humanity has joined the galaxy, but we are alone. Every other species evolved from prey animals or peaceful creatures. We evolved from hunters who chased their food until it died from exhaustion. The galaxy fears us, and they are right to fear us. But they do not fear us enough. Dr. Han continued reading. The early files talked about human history, about wars and weapons, about the human ability to kill efficiently and without remorse when necessary. Personal log. Day 45. We have studied our soldiers, our warriors, our most aggressive individuals. They are impressive, but not enough. If humanity faces a real threat, regular humans will not be sufficient. We need something more. The files showed medical experiments, genetic research, psychological testing. Dr. Han realized she was reading about the birth of something that was not quite human anymore. Colonel Taemin Park had been a good man trying to solve an impossible problem. How do you make humanity safe in a galaxy full of stronger, more numerous enemies? His answer was to make some humans into something beyond human limits. Personal log, day 200. We have selected our first candidates. Young soldiers who volunteer for experimental enhancement. Only 1 in 10,000 can survive the process. The others. The log entry ended there. Dr. Han found the enhancement records. Physical changes came first. Bones were strengthened with metal fibers. Muscles were rebuilt to be 3 times as strong. Reflexes were accelerated until elite forces soldiers could dodge energy blasts that moved at near light speed, but the physical changes were nothing compared to what they did to their first-teamer. So young Kim had been one of the early subjects. Her psychological profile was in the files. Before enhancement, she was a normal person with normal emotions, normal fears, normal limits. After enhancement, she could turn her emotions off like a light switch. She could suppress pain, fear, and doubt completely. Most frightening of all, she could shut down her empathy and become a perfect killing machine, then turn it back on and be a normal person again. Personal log, day 800. The first Elite Forces unit is ready for deployment. 12 individuals who are still human, but also something more. They move faster, think clearer, and fight better than anything in known space. Each one is worth 100 regular soldiers. Dr. Han found the first mission report. A slave trading operation was stealing children from human colonies. Regular forces had failed to stop them because the slavers used civilians as shields. Elite forces deployed 12 operatives. They infiltrated the slaver base, killed every slaver without harming a single civilian, and rescued all the children. The mission took 4 hours. No Elite Forces casualties. Personal log, day 1000. The program is working too well. Our operatives complete missions that should be impossible. They show no fear, no doubt, no mercy toward enemies, but they are still human enough to care about protecting innocent people. We have created guardian angels with the souls of wolves. The files showed the program growing. More volunteers, more enhancements, more impossible missions completed perfectly. But Dr. Han also found the cost records. Chief Warrant Officer Byung-ho Nam was a technical specialist who helped design Elite Forces equipment. His personal notes were hidden in technical manuals, but Dr. Han found them. The hardest part is not the physical pain of enhancement. It is knowing that you will never be fully human again. We can love, we can laugh, we can feel joy, but we always know we are different. We are weapons pretending to be people. Dr. Han realized that elite forces suffered in ways regular humans could not understand. They were enhanced beyond human limits, but they remembered what it felt like to be normal. They protected humanity while standing forever outside it. She found mission reports that made her sick. Elite Forces operatives sent to stop genocide, to rescue hostages, to eliminate threats that regular forces could not handle. They always succeeded, but the cost was measured in pieces of their humanity they could never get back. Personal log, final entry. Colonel Park's files concluded. We have created 50,000 enhanced. 50,000 humans who are no longer quite human. They will protect our species and our allies from threats we cannot imagine, but they will do it alone, because they can never fully return to what they were. The program had been classified beyond top secret. Even now, 30 years later, most humans did not know elite forces existed. The galaxy had just learned about them, but they still knew nothing about how they were made or what they cost. Dr. Han closed the files and sat in darkness. She understood now why the elite forces ships moved impossibly, why their weapons used impossible technology, why their tactics seemed beyond human thinking. The operatives were beyond human, period. She thought about Major Kim, who could shut off her emotions and become a perfect killer, then turn them back on and cry for the enemies she had to destroy. She thought about Commander Lee, who could process tactical information faster than computers but still remembered what it felt like to be afraid. The next day, Dr. Han met with Colonel Park at a secure facility on Earth. He was older now, with gray hair and tired eyes. He had spent 30 years carrying the weight of what he had created. "You found the files," he said. It was not a question. "Yes, I understand now what elite forces really are." "Do you hate me for creating them?" Dr. Han considered the question carefully. "No, I hate that you had to create them. But I understand why you did." Colonel Park nodded. "Every elite forces operative volunteers, knowing what they will become. They choose to sacrifice their full humanity to protect everyone else's. Does your sister know?" "Ambassador Park knows everything. She helps coordinate between elite forces and regular government. It is a heavy burden for both of us." Dr. Han looked out the window at normal humans living normal lives, protected by enhanced humans who could never have normal lives again. What happens if the galaxy finds out the truth about enhancement? Colonel Park's expression darkened. Then they will understand that what they saw at New Sol was elite forces holding back. They will realize that we have been restraining ourselves out of kindness, not weakness. And if they try to stop the program, then they will discover that elite forces were created to protect humanity from external threats. But if necessary, they can protect humanity from internal threats too. Dr. Han shivered. She was beginning to understand that the galaxy's fear of humans was not just justified. It was inadequate. Elite forces were not humanity's secret weapon. They were humanity's restraint made physical. Somewhere in the darkness of space, enhanced operatives continued their missions, protecting people who would never know their names, sacrificing pieces of their souls to keep others safe. The galaxy feared humans. Soon they would learn they had been fearing the wrong ones all along. Admiral Moon Hee-yoon stood on the bridge of the flagship Determination, watching intelligence reports flow across her screens. 7 alien species had formed a secret alliance. They called themselves the Galactic Protection Coalition. But their real purpose was simple: destroy humanity before humans became too dangerous to stop. "They think they are being clever," her intelligence officer reported. "Encrypted communications, secret meetings, coded supply transfers. They do not know we have been listening for months." Admiral Yoon smiled coldly. The aliens thought they were planning a surprise attack. They had no idea that every message, every plan, every troop movement had been observed by elite forces operatives who could hide in plain sight. On the planet Zerion, Sergeant First Class Dong Hyun Choi sat in a cantina, drinking alien alcohol and pretending to be a drunken human merchant. Around him, Zerion military officers planned the attack on human colonies, thinking no humans could understand their language. They were wrong. Choi understood every word, and his enhanced memory recorded every detail. When they finished planning, he would know their complete strategy. "The humans will never expect coordinated attacks," one officer said. "We hit 12 colonies at once. Their forces will be spread too thin," another officer nodded. "Intelligence says humans have some kind of elite forces, but how many can there be? A few hundred enhanced soldiers cannot protect 12 worlds." Choi smiled into his drink. "A few hundred? If only they knew." Captain Ji-hai Lim monitored the coalition's fleet movements from her stealth ship. The aliens had gathered 3,000 warships, thinking that overwhelming numbers would guarantee victory. They positioned their fleets near human space, ready to strike. What they did not know was that elite forces had been watching them gather their ships for weeks. Every fleet position was known. Every commander was identified. Every weakness was catalogued. "They are almost ready," Lim reported to Elite Forces Command. "Estimated attack time is 6 hours. "Copy that, Captain," came the reply. "All units are in position. Let them make the first move." The attack began exactly as planned. Not the alien plan, but the human plan. 12 human colonies came under simultaneous assault. Thousands of alien ships descended on worlds where human families lived peaceful lives. The colonists fled to shelters while defense platforms opened fire. Regular human forces responded as expected. Patrol ships and system defense forces fought bravely, but were outnumbered 10-1. Several colonies sent desperate calls for help. Galactic news networks covered the attacks in real time. "This appears to be the end of human military dominance," one reporter announced. "Coordinated strikes by 7 species have caught humanity completely off guard." On Earth, Premier Min Jun Kang watched the reports with Ambassador Hyejin Park. They showed no emotion as human ships were destroyed and colonies were threatened. "The galaxy thinks we are defeated," Premier Kang said. "Good," Ambassador Park replied. "Let them think that for a few more minutes." In deep space, Admiral Yoon waited for the signal. Her fleet of 200 ships was hidden behind a gas giant, invisible to enemy sensors. Similar fleets waited throughout the galaxy, all positioned exactly where they needed to be. "Sir," her communications officer reported. "Elite forces report all targets are committed. Enemy fleets are fully engaged with colonial defenses." "Excellent," Admiral Yoon said. "Execute Order 7-7. Order 7-7 was a plan 30 years in the making. While aliens focused on attacking human colonies, elite forces operatives who had been placed in alien command structures years earlier activated simultaneously. On the Xerion command ship, the Admiral suddenly found his weapon systems offline. "What is happening?" he demanded. His human technical advisor, who had been serving faithfully for 3 years, removed a small device from the main computer core. "Sorry, Admiral. You have been betrayed by someone you trusted." The advisor was actually Major Kyung-Soo Lee, Elite Forces intelligence specialist. He had spent 3 years pretending to be a civilian contractor while learning everything about Xerion military systems. Across the galaxy, similar scenes played out on hundreds of alien ships. Elite Forces operatives revealed themselves and disabled entire fleets from within. Years of patient infiltration paid off in a single moment, but the real surprise was yet to come. "All human fleets," Admiral Yoon broadcast, "execute Retribution Protocol." Hidden human fleets appeared throughout the galaxy. Not just Admiral Yoon's 200 ships, but 1,500 vessels that had been positioned in secret over months. They had been invisible, waiting for this exact moment. The alien coalition found themselves surrounded. Ships they had never detected opened fire from positions that should have been empty space. Their coordinated attack became a coordinated trap. Captain Lim's Elite Forces squadron moved through enemy formations like ghosts. Their ships seemed to phase in and out of reality, appearing long enough to destroy targets, then vanishing before return fire could reach them. "How are they doing that?" the Xerion Admiral demanded, watching his fleet die around him. Major Lee smiled. "Elite Forces technology is 50 years ahead of anything you have seen. This is not a battle, Admiral. This is an execution." In 72 hours, the 7-species coalition was completely destroyed. 3,000 warships became debris. Hundreds of thousands of alien military personnel were dead or captured. Not one human colony was lost, but Admiral Yoon was not finished. She opened communications to all surviving alien forces. "This is Admiral Moon-hee Yoon of the Human Federation Navy. You attacked our civilians. You believed you could destroy us with surprise and numbers. You were wrong about both." Her image was broadcast across the galaxy. Behind her, the burning remains of alien fleets provided a dramatic backdrop. "Let me explain what really happened. You planned this attack for months. We knew about your plans from the beginning, because our people have been working beside you for years. You thought you were fighting our military forces. You were fighting our early warning system." The galaxy watched in stunned silence as Admiral Yoon continued. "You saw elite forces once and thought you understood what they were. You do not understand anything. What you fought today was elite forces operating under strict restraint orders. They were ordered not to use their full capabilities because we did not want to terrify you completely." Captain Lim's voice joined the broadcast from her ship. "Your 7 species coordinated perfectly to attack us. But you made one mistake. You assumed we think like you do. We do not coordinate. We integrate." Footage played showing elite forces operatives revealing themselves on alien ships. The galaxy watched alien officers realize that humans they had trusted for years were actually enhanced soldiers who had been reporting their every move. "This was not a battle," Admiral Yoon concluded. "This was a demonstration. You wanted to know what elite forces could do. Now you know they could have killed you all at any time over the past 3 years. They chose not to." Sergeant Choi appeared on screen from the Xerion cantina, still holding his drink. "Every military base, every fleet, every command center has at least one of us watching. We are your bartenders, your mechanics, your advisors, your friends. We have been protecting you from threats you never even noticed." The broadcast ended with a simple message that chilled every alien who heard it. Elite forces are not humanity's army. They are humanity's restraint. Attack us again, and you will face what we have been restraining. On Earth, Colonel Taemin Park watched the aftermath reports with mixed feelings. The secret was completely out now. The galaxy knew that enhanced operatives had been among them for years, watching and waiting. "Do you think we went too far?" he asked his sister. Ambassador Park shook her head. "We went exactly as far as necessary. Now they understand that we have been protecting them, not threatening them." But in the depths of space, other forces were watching the human demonstration with great interest. Ancient machines that had slept for millennia began to stir. They had been waiting for organic species to become interesting enough to notice. Humanity had just become very interesting indeed. The Galactic Council chamber had never been so quiet. Representatives from dozens of species sat in their chairs, afraid to speak. The human demonstration had shattered everything they thought they knew about power in the galaxy. High Counselor Thex 9's mechanical voice broke the silence. "The emergency session is now open. We must address the human Archon revelation." Premier Minjun Kang sat in the center of the hall, having traveled from Earth personally for this meeting. Around him, alien delegates whispered nervously. Some were demanding humanity be expelled from the Federation, others wanted to surrender immediately. The Velcarian delegate stood first, his 6 arms shaking with fear. "Honored Premier, your people have deceived us for decades. You place spies in our governments, our militaries, our most secure facilities. This is an act of war." Premier Kang's expression did not change. "Counselor Velkoth, in the past 50 years, how many wars has your species fought?" "None, but what does that? How many of your people have died from hostile action?" "Well, there was the pirate incident 5 years ago, but 12 deaths," Premier Kang said calmly. "In 50 years, your people have lost 12 individuals to violence. Before humans joined the galaxy, how many wars were you fighting?" Counselor Velkoth's blue skin paled. 3 major conflicts and several smaller ones. How many deaths per year?" "Approximately 50,000, but..." "No buts," Premier Kang interrupted. "Elite Forces operatives have been preventing wars, stopping terrorists, eliminating threats before they could harm you. You are angry because we protected you without asking permission." Prime Mother Veltara's compound eyes focused on the Premier. "But your people lied to us. You made us believe we were safe while watching us with enhanced soldiers." General Haewon Shin stepped forward from the human section. Her Elite Forces uniform was simple and dark, but every alien in the room felt afraid just looking at her. "Mother Veltara, 2 years ago, your hive worlds faced a plague that could have killed billions of your people. Who do you think discovered the cure and distributed it? Before your scientists even knew the plague existed." The insectoid leader's antennae twitched. That was a medical miracle. Our own researchers were guided by information provided anonymously by enhanced operatives who had been monitoring biological threats across the galaxy. The miracle was manufactured. Admiral Korth, the reptilian warrior, slammed his clawed hand on his chair. "Enough! You cannot justify decades of deception by claiming you were protecting us." "We are not children who need guardians." Premier Kang stood slowly. When he spoke, his voice was gentle but somehow more frightening than any shout. "Admiral Korth, show them the files." Commander Eugene Bayek appeared on the main screen from a secure facility on Earth. Behind her, holographic displays showed military capabilities that made the alien delegates gasp in horror. "What you are seeing," Commander Bayek said, "is a small portion of human military capability. Elite forces represent less than 1% of our actual strength." The displays showed weapon systems that could destroy entire star systems, ships that could move faster than anything in known space, soldiers enhanced beyond elite forces specifications who existed only in theoretical planning documents. Project Deep Strike. Weapons that can eliminate all life on a planet without damaging the planet itself. Project Ghost Fleet. Ships that can move through solid matter. Project Omega Protocol. Enhancement procedures that make elite forces look like normal humans. The chamber erupted in panicked voices. Several delegates demanded immediate evacuation. Others called for their home fleets to retreat to distant galaxies. Premier Kang raised his hand and silence fell immediately. These projects exist only as possibilities. We built them in computer simulations to understand what we could become if we chose to. We chose not to build them because we do not want to be the monsters you are afraid we might become." He walked to the center of the chamber, looking each alien representative in the eyes. "Elite forces were not created to conquer you. They were created to protect you from us. Every enhanced operative is a human who chose to sacrifice part of their humanity to make sure the rest of humanity never needs to become truly inhuman. Ambassador Eugene Seo, the new Galactic Relations Minister, joined the Premier in the center. We are offering you a choice. The old Federation where everyone pretends to be equals while secretly fearing each other, or a new compact where humanity openly serves as protector of all member species. Protector? Thex9's voice carried electronic confusion. What does that mean exactly? General Shin answered. It means we will defend any member species against external threats, internal conflicts, or cosmic disasters. In exchange, you acknowledge that humanity holds ultimate responsibility for galactic security. The Centauri delegate stood nervously. And if we refuse this compact? Premier Kang's smile was not unkind, but it was not entirely reassuring either. Then you are free to leave Federation space and establish your own governments elsewhere. We will not pursue you or interfere with your independence. But you will not protect us either, Admiral Korth said, understanding the implications. Correct. Protection is a privilege that comes with membership. Independence means taking care of yourself. Commander Bayek's voice came from the screen again. However, there are threats in this galaxy that individual species cannot handle alone. Ancient automated systems, cosmic phenomena, hostile intelligences from outside our local group. These threats do not care about political boundaries. The aliens exchanged worried glances. They had all heard rumors of ships disappearing near the galactic rim, of entire systems going dark without explanation. Prime Mother Velterra spoke carefully. What kind of threats? The kind that require elite forces to remove their operational restrictions, General Shin replied. The kind that make our restraint irrelevant because restraint becomes a luxury we cannot afford. The chamber fell silent again as the implications sank in. There were things out there so dangerous that even enhanced humans might have to use their full capabilities. Premier Kang looked around the chamber one final time. You have 48 hours to decide. Accept the compact and remain under human protection, or choose independence and face whatever comes on your own. He turned to leave, then stopped. One more thing. Those 7 species that attacked our colonies, they are no longer part of the Federation. They chose to be enemies instead of friends. Elite forces are currently managing the consequences of that choice. After the humans left, the alien delegates sat in stunned silence. Everything had changed in a single day. They now knew that humanity had been restraining itself for 50 years, that enhanced operatives had been protecting them without their knowledge, and that there were threats in the galaxy that required protection they could not provide for themselves. The Velcarian delegate was the first to speak. They never wanted to conquer us. They wanted to keep us safe. Safe from what? Asked the Centauri delegate. Admiral Korth studied the military displays that were still showing on the main screen. Safe from them, and safe from whatever is out there that is dangerous enough to make them consider becoming what they are capable of becoming. Over the next 48 hours, every species made their choice. Most accepted the compact, understanding that human protection was better than human indifference. A few chose independence and left Federation space immediately, but in the darkness between galaxies, ancient sensors detected the energy signatures of human military demonstrations. Artificial intelligences older than organic life began calculating threat assessments. Humanity had revealed their strength to protect their friends. Soon they would need every bit of that strength to protect everyone from something that saw organic life as nothing more than an interesting chemical accident that had lasted too long.